Hi, I'm going to start reading out loud on camera. I have been reading out loud to my kids since the time they're born, and it has enabled me to be able to get a lot done during the times that they're listening to audiobooks. But audiobooks are kind of expensive, and my kids kind of like hearing me. So while I read to them, I'm going to start recording myself so that they can listen to it again when I'm busy, because they'll listen to the same book over and over again, and that's probably true for a lot of you. Today, we're going to start with this book here. And this is the Berenstain Bear Scouts and the Run-Amuck Robot. I'm going to read the first and second chapter, and then I will post another one the following day. So this is a chapter book version instead of just the picture books, so it's a little longer. So if your kids are younger, they may or may not want to hear the story, but if they already like the Berenstain Bears, it's a good way to jump up. So, the Berenstain Bear Scouts and the Run-Amuck Robot. Chapter 1. I say, young chaps, I say. The Bear Scouts were headed for their secret chicken coop clubhouse at the far edge of Farmer Ben's farm. They usually went across Ben's cow pasture, but it was such a nice day they decided to take a long cut through Squire Grizzly's estate. The squire was the richest bear in bear country, and his estate looked the part. It was a beautiful place with lovely gardens, handsome statues, and sparkling fountains. And, of course, there's the great mansion itself. Now, there's nothing too exciting for a picture, but I'll still show it to you. As the scouts passed the long curving driveway, they heard someone calling, I say, young chaps, I say. The voice was familiar, but they couldn't place it until they turned and saw Greaves, the squire's butler. He was running down the driveway, waving and shouting, but Greaves wasn't built for running. His big belly was covering at least as much distance, bouncing up and down as its owner was moving forward. It's a little bit of a close-up there. I say, young chaps, I say, called Greaves. He was almost out of breath. Come on, said Brother, let's meet him halfway. Greaves isn't built for that kind of work. The scouts changed course and zipped up the driveway. When Greaves saw them coming, he stopped and sat on the curb. He was still trying to catch his breath when the scouts reached him. Easy, Greaves, easy, said Brother. It's okay, said Sister. Just wait till you catch your breath. Scouts Lizzie and Fred nodded in agreement. For those of you who don't know, Izzy is their neighbor and Fred's their cousin. What did you want to see us about, Greaves? Asked Brother. Oh, it's not I who wish to see you, young sir, said Greaves. It's Lady Grizzly who wishes to see you. The scouts looked at each other, then they looked back at Greaves, who had stood up and was looking almost like his dignified self again. Lady Grizzly wants to see us? Said Brother. The scouts did quite a lot of face-making and shrugging as they followed Greaves up the driveway to the massive front doors of the mansion. What could Lady Grizzly possibly want with them? Chapter 2. Trouble at the Bearsonian. The Bear Scouts had been inside Grizzly Mansion before. They had come with Papa Q Bear, brother and sister's dad. Papa was just about the finest furniture and cabinet maker in Beartown. He did a lot of work for the squire, mostly on Lady Grizzly's collection of priceless antiques. That's how the scouts knew Greaves. They had come with Papa on pickups and deliveries, but they had never come in the front door before, nor had they ever met Lady Grizzly face to face. The scouts followed Greaves into the entrance hall. They gawked at the great chandelier and portraits of Grizzly ancestors. Greaves opened the double doors that led to the living room. Then he stood just inside them the way butlers do in the movies and said, The Bear Scouts to see you, Mum." The Scouts figured they were supposed to go in, so they did. Lady Grizzly greeted them warmly. "So good to see you," she said. She shook hands with each Scout. "Greaves," she said, "please send Millie in with the tea things." "Be seated, my dears," continued Lady Grizzly, pointing to an antique table surrounded by 5 antique chairs. "Ah, yes, here's Millie with the tea things." Millie set a large silver tray on the table. There were fancy china cups and saucers, a silver teapot, and a stack of dessert dishes on the tray. At its center was a dish of tea cakes. They were frosted with pink, white, and chocolate icing. Atop each cake was a nut meat. There were almonds on the pink ones, walnuts on the white ones, and pecans on the chocolate ones. They looked delicious. "Oh dear," said Lady Grizzly as she began to pour, "it just occurred to me you might prefer milk." "That's okay, Ma'am," said Brother. "We're all allowed to drink tea on special occasions." "Would you prefer lemon or sugar with your tea?" As the Scouts said which, Lady Grizzly placed a wedge of lemon on the saucer or plunked a sugar cube in a cup. The Scouts were out of their minds with curiosity about why Lady Grizzly wanted to see them. Lady Grizzly," said Brother, was there something special you wanted to see us about?" "Oh, yes, something very special indeed," said Lady Grizzly. "Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding that you are friendly with Professor Actual Factual, Director of the Berenstain Institution." "That's right," said Brother, "and that you're quite fond of him." "Quite fond," said Brother. "And," continued Lady Grizzly, "you would be willing to help him in any way you could?" "Oh, yes," said Brother. "We'd do just about anything to help the professor." "Good. Then it's settled," said Lady Grizzly. "You're to report to the Berenstain as junior docents tomorrow morning." "Junior who cents?" said Sister. "The Berenstain opens at 9. I'll pick you up in my limo at 8:30. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've things to attend to." The Scouts had all kinds of questions, but their mouths were so full of pink, white, and chocolate cake, they couldn't ask them. "Greaves," said Lady Grizzly, "would you please see our friends out?" Before the Scouts quite knew what was happening, that's where they were. Out. "Docent," said Brother. "What the heck's a docent?" "Docent," said Fred, who read the dictionary just for fun, pronounced docent, a guide or lecturer at a museum or university. "Does anybody have any idea what's going on with Lady Grizzly?" asked Brother. "Knock, knock," said Sister. "Who's there?" said Lizzie. "Docent," said Sister. "Docent who?" said Fred. "I don't think Lady Grizzly is telling us everything she knows," said Sister. As the Scouts left the Grizzly estate, they were convinced of 2 things. 1, something mysterious is going on at the Berenstain, and 2, they better show up at Eagle Road the next morning and find out what the heck it was. Chapter 3 is titled Mysteriouser and Mysteriouser.